actually the risk of getting infectious diseases from patients because of needle injuries. So you give the patient an injection, and then you, by some way or the other, manage to get hurt by the needle. A company that wants to help to prevent that is NeedleSmart, and John Bryant, the director of NeedleSmart, will now show us how he wants to do that with a novel solution.
Okay, can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Okay, my name's John. Thank you very much for listening to me, guys. It's Spear Guy, my chief exec, Cliff Kirby, but he can't make it. So without reading the words on the slide, on the screen, you can see a scanner, a computer, and our NeedleSmart machine. And pre-pandemic, we developed the NeedleSmart machine. And then during the pandemic, we've added software. So if we were in a vaccination process, we would scan the vaccine, the patient record would come up on the screen of the computer, and we would then burn the needle, and at that point create a compliance, which would be the serial number of our machine, the location, the batch number of the vaccine, the patient record, and everything, and that could be uploaded to a digital passport. Next slide, please. So I'm not going to read the words, but these are all the things that can be collected. So we're more of a software company than a medical device company. We just are very unique that we've got a medical device, which I'll talk about in a minute, that actually sits right next to the vaccine program. This will be great for data. If you can imagine a country or a hospital group needing the data of which vaccine every person's had, and if there was a problem or the second dose required, we can provide clean, virgin data. Next slide, please. This slide is talking about the environmental impact. Our machine actually burns the needle within a few seconds when you put it in the top. So you can just see the little top of our machine in the bottom of this slide. You put it in, it's in for about 10 seconds, it comes out, and that sharp is now a piece of molten metal that's cool, no longer a sharp, and could go into a sharp spin. But what we're hoping is at some point in the future, it actually goes into a clinical waste box. This is good for the environment. To burn a clinical waste box does not need a lot of temperature. To burn a sharp spin needs over 1,000 degrees. Sharp spins are also made of virgin plastic. There's a worldwide shortage at the moment of virgin plastic, which goes into needles and sharp spins. So we definitely help with the sustainability aspect. The machine can also count how many needles have been used. This could do a stock ordering system. I know here in the UK, there's actually no stock ordering system for the National Health Service. There's no stock control. There could be as much as 200,000 to 500,000 pounds worth of extra needles lying around the system that actually they don't even know exists. The last slide, please. That's the machine that shows the needles, the inventory, the workflow. And if you can go to the next slide, please. What we need the money for. Well, we are a debt-free company, and we've spent £4 million on developing the machine and patents. So we've spent about £500,000 on patents. We've got a product ready to go. We've got some products out in test with no sales to talk about, so we're pre-income. We've just signed a manufacturing deal with a FDA-regulated company in America. We have FDA regulations. We're speaking to people in America, and that's only came across, the FDA regulation only came through about 6 weeks ago. So the money would be used for manufacture, create a sales team. We're also in negotiations with the UAE, the Middle East. We're finding it slightly difficult in the UK with the NHS. There's too many buying points, but we are trying to set up a clinical trial with 11 trusts that hopefully will start at the end of June. And that really is what we're after. The biggest benefits of needle stick injuries, the recycling system and collecting the data of the vaccination. On the screen, you can see the second, the HHD, that's the handheld device. We want to develop that. That's a working prototype. That is for the home market, for the diabetes market. And then the third, the PH stands for phlebotomy. One stat is there's 30 billion vacuum containers sold in the world every year. So 30 billion blood tests taken. And that third machine would separate the plastic and the metal and put them into 2 different waste streams and also record all of those things. And that's my pitch. Thank you very much for listening to me. Have you any questions?
Yes, thank you very much. With that, I can relate to the risk of needle stick injuries, and also, of course, very smart to kind of use the point of return, in a way, of waste return here to also monitor the inventory. Where would you see the placement? Is it really more a hospital thing, or do you also think that just a general practitioner, for example, could benefit from it?
The first device, the NS Pro, is hospital-based, whether it be in the National Health Service or in private hospitals. Going forward, though, it could work into Botox clinics, tattoo parlors. We've not developed anything. It could go veterinary and dentistry as well. The second product is mainly home-based for the diabetes market, which is growing. And the third base is the phlebotomy, and that is the same system everywhere in the world, how the phlebotomist works.
Yeah, and then from a business model perspective, so of course you have the device sales, and then you will also monetize the data or the software platform, recurring revenues. How is that working?
Yeah, the data capture is really where the money comes in. And selling the device, yes, we'll have a profit margin on that. The real profit comes in when we get involved in vaccination markets. So we know that we can save a member of staff. So we plan to charge, and if you just use a euro, if we charge €1 for every time we capture the data of the patient record, if you start thinking of the number of population of each country, that soon becomes a few million euros in income per country for each vaccine. And it's not just COVID, it's whatever else is around the corner, flu vaccines, things like that. I think the digital passport, health passport is definitely going to grow, and they are going to need systems to upload that data and actually save the cost of a human being typing it in, which can be a mistake. I mean, someone's typed my name in on this and my name misspelled because it hasn't been uploaded correctly. So, you know, you can easily get your records wrong, and that could stop people flying or getting through a passport control, something like that.
Yeah. Okay, then thank you very much for the intro. If people want to get in touch with you, they know now where to find you and what you're doing. Okay. And with that, I thank you again for the presentation, and we move on to the next company.
Thank you very much for your time. Bye now.
Thank you. Bye-bye. So the next startup is called Human People, and they want to change the way that you can get real benefits from using supplements. We know there are many supplements out there, and a lot of people also use them, but most of them might not be efficiently used for the right person. So Human People hopes to make people happier and healthier by providing them their optimized daily supplements, and as they said, that for the price of a cappuccino. So I'm looking forward to learn more about that from the CEO, Geoffrey Mullen. Yes, we can't hear you yet.
Have you got me now?
Yes, now it works. Yeah.
Thank you very much for the introduction. Hi, I'm Geoff Mullen, CEO and founder of Human People, and we're really all about digital health screening and preventative medicine, and the way talk a little bit about how we approach that. Say in most healthcare systems at the moment, we're there to treat disease, but it's that kind of pre-disease state that a lot of people turn to supplements for. Those soft symptoms, the aching hands, the sore muscles that we know kind of precede any illness, or brain fog and struggling with sleep. When you really go into that in detail of someone's history, you know that what's going on. So in a way, using an AI questionnaire, you can start to find these subclinical symptoms of illness. And actually, if there are issues, you can also then really help improve these through a number of things, lifestyle, diet, and nutrition, etc. But one of the easy things to do is, to take high-dose quality supplements. But at the moment, it's a bit of a guessing game. And it's a little bit like, I've got low energy. I go to my doctor. He goes, you know what? I know. Why don't you take thyroxine? We wouldn't dream of doing that. But yet, that's what the supplement market does. They just go, okay, this is your problem. Take X. And so when you actually come to measuring their levels, 4% of them actually have optimal levels. So, we also run anti-aging functional medicine clinics. So, we've seen how this happens. We see how the benefits work. But for the majority of people, they don't have the time, they don't have the money to do that in clinic. And so this is really offering an easy solution. Firstly, do you need to take anything? Do you have an easy test that you can do at home to do that? And then if you do a test, what do I need to take? And then finally, where do I source that from? So by tying all of those things up, you can really scale that up and build. The way we do it is the AI questionnaire. We partner up with Atlas Biomed for DNA and gut tests, but we integrate that genomic risk scoring data ourselves, along with blood testing. And it's the algorithm that integrates all of this together onto a dashboard that is then reviewed. But it's that calculation that's done by a computer ultimately that allows you to go, this is the ranked supplements this person should have. They can then kind of take control, look at it on their own dashboard, etc. And one of the big things we've done is taking a blood device, which it's not exclusive to us, from the US. So we're the first people in the UK, as far as I know, and we just validated that with Eurofins to use. And it's this little device you put on your arm, you press that blue button. It collects a capillary sample, which is then sent off to a laboratory for analysis. All the supplements are 100% personalized. So we have our own packaging robot in-house. So once that set of supplements is then built up, it goes off to machine to package them. But as I say, this is all about ultimately preventive health. What are the easy things to do? We all know we should eat better, but yet we struggle to do it. Can we give a solution where it's helping people at least get to some of those supplements into the body? And you tend to find that when they do start forming good habits, other bad habits drop out, and diet, etc., changes as well. So as I say, we're a CQC regulated diagnostic and screening business, as well as the supplements. And we're also looking to take this platform of clinical data plus that data set and how we ingest it to give out a diagnosis and ultimately a treatment plan. The people who are kind of look at these, the main psychographics of the market we've been looking at. We're aiming to, although D2C is obviously important, it's through other clinics, it's through corporate and strategic partnerships, and that's referral systems through gyms, corporate wellness programs, clinics, etc. Got a pretty good team in there as well. Co-founder Henry's next being managing consultant. Christine's one of the leading nutritionists in the UK. Karen Kidd's head of brand at Cafe Nero, was previously in the health market as well, and a very experienced full stack engineer. So our trajectory, as we see it on the subscription rate, is hitting that 1 million ARR, actually around 900 subscribers. So yes, it's a premium product, but we also don't need enormous figures to start getting some serious traction. And we've already raised just over a quarter of the money already, and we're looking to close out the round of 800,000, and that allows us to build out that tech platform a little bit further, really build out those customer touch points, and that will help us reach that 1 million ARR in a potential Series A raise. Interestingly, we obviously we're really concentrating on the physical when we first start doing this, but actually what's been really interesting is how that has made an enormous difference to people's mental health. And that shouldn't be surprised once you start dialing down inflammation. And that's really one of our key targets, is measuring those inflammatory markers, those inflammatory genes that people have been messaging, kind of saying anxiety has disappeared. What pill's doing that? And you're kind of, well, there's nothing. It's that general well-being. So we're just about to do a full commercial launch. We've got a small revenue from our pilot with a very high retention rate. Home testing is definitely an inflection point, and we're all talking about personalized healthcare, and now we're trying to work out how to actually do it. So if this fits with what you're interested in, please do contact me. Thank you.
Thank you for the presentation. Yes, so how do you see your customer base in the future? I mean, right now you're basically going on people that, let's say, are interested in the health status and so on. You aim to maybe reach out to get agreements with insurances or corporate agreements and those type of things?
Yeah, look, we're working with a couple of corporates to do exactly that. So kind of a wellness pack that is rather than a monthly subscription, but it's kind of almost a yearly check. So it allows them to do the initial DNA test, 2 blood screens during the year. A range of supplements. Some people like to take a couple, they just want to top up. Others are really into it. So it's obviously having that flexibility, and it's finding that right corporate partner to build it out. There's a couple of corporate wellness platforms that we're also speaking to as well, who are really interested in it, because ultimately we're trying to do it properly. We like to think we're the supplement company that should exist but doesn't exist yet. It's very difficult to do this yourself, and it's we put a lot of R&D into everything we do, from our tests to our supplements, and I think we're certainly starting to see some traction and people who understand that.
Mm-hmm. And how do you source the supplements that you then, or are you only recommending and the customer gets them themselves? So
we do a range of things. So there's a range of very good supplement companies out there that quite a few of them tend to be doctor only. Some very good brand names like Pure Encapsulations, Metagenics, etc. For some of the other supplements, we have UK manufacturers, and it's all about being able to give somebody a high enough dose if they're deficient, whereas most over the counters are we can give this to anybody regardless of what their levels are. So, a simple one, if you need to correct someone's B12 or folate, that's a very different thing to taking B12 or folate in a multivitamin. So it's taking what you would normally do in a clinic as a doctor to fix something. Obviously, there's a big difference between active forms of supplements. Again, a simple one, cyanocobalamin, not particularly active. Methylcobalamin is active. So, but you as average consumer, it's very difficult for them to understand the difference between those two.
Yeah. Yes. Then also the time's up. Thank you for the presentation. And again, people want to know more about your company, they know now where to reach out.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Yes, the third company for this session, I can again relate to very well to the problem they're solving. As mentioned, I worked as a paramedic, and one type of problem we often saw there was dislodgement of intravenous catheters, because you manage to put the catheter into the arm, put on, for example, an infusion, and then the patient moves their arm, and because it's a very stiff system, the needle usually goes out of the arm and you have a lot of blood everywhere. Now we will learn from Katharina Hedbeck, the CEO of Tada Medical, how this can be prevented in the future.
So, hi, I'm Katharina, CEO and co-founder of Tada Medical. Our journey started with the EU-funded innovation program, where we spent 8 intense months at the Children's Oncology Clinic to identify their unmet needs. The most frequent invasive procedure is infusion therapy. 3.8 billion tubes are used annually in Europe and the US. 10% of these get accidentally dislodged during use, with massive consequences, adding up to 28 billion euros in unnecessary healthcare consumption. We will start watching a short video introducing the world's first ever market-ready breakaway connector for IV lines. Tata Medical's Relink reduces the risk of accidental IV dislodgement. Relink enables safer therapies for patients and nurses. Relink promotes accurate dosage and avoids spillage. Since it is reconnectable, Relink reduces the time to restart the line and saves valuable nursing time by the bed. When we started working with Relink, we saw the needs from a lot of different wards and angles. Relink is a platform technology laying the foundation for an entire product family with a wide application profile in human and animal infusion therapies in both hospital and home care settings. And the base of our Relink is pretty much the same all over the field with slight changes. Relink Care is a breakaway connector designed specifically for gravitational IV and bears the CE mark. A clinical trial is planned for 2021 in Sweden, in Uppsala. Relink Advanced is created to be used with infusion pumps and all IV fluids, including blood and blood products. Here we plan a multi-center clinical trial in 2 European countries, and that has been funded by the European Union's FTI project. Relink Closed System is designed as a closed system connected device to protect healthcare professional exposure to toxic drugs. Here we are planning a clinical trial at 2 university hospitals in Germany. Relink Digital comes with monitoring and communication ability to care for the needs in the home care market. Relink Veterinary is designed specifically for the requirement of animal care product. And here we work in collaboration with the only animal university hospital in Sweden. And the trial is planned for the autumn this year. When the problem is that something breaks, the standard solution is to make it stronger. We did the opposite. We made it weaker. The weak link activation, where a link separates into 2 parts, prevents the catheter from being ripped from the patient in case of an accidentally pulled IV line, reducing the consequences. Relink features double-sided, etc. A lot of those things reduce the entire consequences. The state of the market competitor today are only working with improving the effectiveness, but once there is an accident, the consequences are still there. The benefits all add up to make a better life for healthcare professionals and patients. Something that our entire team share and value. Christopher, one of the founders, is a medical doctor specializing in anesthesiology. Rebecca, our CEO, also co-founder, has a PhD in engineering sciences. I'm also, co-founder and CEO, and I'm an engineer with an MBA. The rest of the team are highly qualified as well, some with PhD and some with background from top-tier consultancy firms such as KPMG and Ernst & Young. And we bring together a lot of different experience required to bring a medtech product to the market, but we're not alone. We have a huge network and an ecosystem around us to help us with these things. To access hospital for trial studies and evaluation has become a lot trickier with the pandemic, and we're very proud of the network and that we've been able to secure funding for several studies. And we use these as stepping stones to allow Relink to be used in more advanced application and create optionality. This approach has caught the attention of several larger business-to-business players, and we're in discussion with several of them. Some sell, some manufacture, some do both. And there are different streams of possibility and collaboration partners for us. And these are all very interesting discussions, of course, and we would love to share those with the different revenue streams and projections with potential investors. We would like to welcome investors on board, primarily from medtech, life science, and pharma experience. We open around after the summer and we'll be looking at 4 million euros. 1.5 of those we've already found, and the money will be used to increase the team, commercialization, and manufacturing. And we see an exit opportunity after approximately 3 years with an IPO. There are obviously different exit opportunities, but this is one that we are moving toward. Thank you for listening.
Thank you very much for the introduction, and as usual, I open the floor for questions. Anessa?
Yes, thank you, Katarina, for a great presentation. So interesting product. I have some questions, but let's start with the last question that just popped into my mind. Why would you want to IPO? Why don't you want to be acquired?
No, it could be acquired. I mean, that would be one possibility. That can happen before, that can happen shortly, it can happen in the long run. And we want to sort of, some of our employees have been given options, etc. So we actually see that it might be. And we have a lot of, we visited NASDAQ and checked the requirements. And we have, as a medtech company, we have quite a lot of processes in place. So we thought it would actually, if we walk towards the IPO, if an M&A happens, it happens. Yeah.
Okay, and then my second question is, do you have FTO? Do you have freedom to operate?
Yeah, we have done our what do you call it? Our patent attorney has done freedom to operate. I think I would say light for us, because I mean, if we look, we had a call earlier today with a business-to-business player who sell in 110 countries. I'm sure our freedom to operate, I'm not sure, if it covers all the 110 countries. So I think some of those things need to be reevaluated. We are looking into having a licensing deal or, moving forward.
And my last question is your studies. You said it's a multi-center study that you want to perform in 2 countries. So what are the primary endpoints of your study?
It's to compare. It's in Coimbra in Portugal, and in Barcelona, and the project is already funded, and we're going to evaluate what happens after accidents happen and what we can prevent, because there could be, if it's just ripped out, it could be follow-up effects, etc.
So the primary endpoints will be accidents?
Yeah. Well, what we can save from it, and how much hospitals can save by actually having our product on board.
Okay. Thank you very much, Katarina, and good luck with your fundraising.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for the question, Vanessa. Just one short follow-up also on the pricing of the product and thereby the placing in the market, because I mean, the current solution costs, I guess, cents to have. So, and I assume that your pricing will be higher.
Yeah, when we, it's different pricing possibility in different wards, and what you're. We did say €3 per piece when we were evaluating, doing a cross-reference overall and considering how much the hospital actually saves, and that would be if they were put on each and every patient. But one can probably, in some areas, if we would start as a niche product, one can take more. But if it would go into every orthopedic, it could be worth less. So it's going to be a span. And the hospitals are going to earn a lot of money. Yeah. Save, basically. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you very much
Thank
for
you.
the introduction to the company. And then we will move on to the last company for today.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Which is DeepMed. And they aim to digitalize and automate the analysis of histopathology images, which historically still works the same way as many, many years ago and has seen little disruption in the last years. But now Emanuel Aptakis, the CCO of DeepMed, will explain how they plan to change that.
Thank you very much for the kind introduction. I hope you can hear me. You can see my screen.
Yes.
Good afternoon. Then, a suspected cancer diagnosis is an emotionally testing time for patients and their families, marking the start of a journey through a maze of diagnostic procedures, surgery, and decisions about therapy. Cancer services are currently overloaded. The health professionals are stretched, and the choice of diagnostics and therapeutic options has become more and more complex to navigate through, and is going to get more complex in future. The pandemic has just made things worse. It is now accepted by most experts that machine learning can and will play a significant role in improving the accuracy, efficiency, and quality of most stages of cancer patients' journey, starting from histopathology, which is the immediate focus of DeepMed, a particularly stressed area. Histopathology is a crucial link in the cancer treatment chain, used for staging and grading tumors and helping to match the best therapy with each patient. Since 2017, DeepMed has attracted more than £1 million in funding through the HPRI program in collaboration with NHS trusts in the UK to make the first steps in digital medicine in terms of supporting histopathologists, specifically to identify metastasis in lymph nodes and assist with disease staging. Our award-winning machine learning models can improve accuracy, currently at 95% and targeting more than 98%, and save time, crucially, currently saving twice to 2 times and targeting 3 to 4 times time saving. At the same time, while keeping the experts in the driving seat. With our first product for breast cancer, which is currently ready for the market, DeepMed has developed methodologies, strategies, and intellectual property to extract valuable information from histopathology images. Such information methodologies are the foundation of our plan to develop products of direct relevance to each step of a cancer patient's journey, accurate, fast, and personalized. Our DeepPath Lydia is our first product, currently about to reach CE marking. Our model scans the images, finds all regions of interest, however well hidden, and presents them to doctors for confirmation. Our validation shows that Lydia helps experts deliver diagnosis in less than half the time and with higher accuracy. DeepMed is ahead of the competition by using unsupervised learning with generative adversarial networks to deliver the first pan-cancer solution, which can be used across all cancer types, increasing Lydia's total accessible market 5-fold. This gives DeepMed a unique competitive advantage, even over companies with a strong fundraising track record. At the same time, DeepMed's products work in a complementary way with a lot of those competitors, creating integrated solutions for clinics and patients, creating critical mass and accelerating traction for the whole sector. Our products is engineered to work with any hardware to deliver its results within the large-scale software platforms that are favored by the last hospital end users. Lydia has a compelling value proposition for all stakeholders. Its simplicity, its unobstructive method of delivery, and its decision support nature makes it an ideal entry point for AI solutions in clinical workflows. The business model has strong SaaS elements with all the associated benefits, including very high margins and high customer lifetime value. The global total accessible market for Lydia is about £500 million. Cross-selling of our subsequent products is a strong element of our long-term strategy. For example, our planned recurrence prediction products family on its own has a TAM of about £1 billion in a market with expected growth rate of more than 13%. Our sales channel goes via system integrators and local distributors, supported by our internal expert sales team and strong in-house customer support function. A key component of our market entry strategy is our close collaboration with system integrators with the capacity to provide end-to-end solutions to large trusts. For example, we are working closely with Fujifilm in the UK, having participated in common advertising and promotions to several NHS trusts with considerable success. Others include Philips, Sectra, which is a Swedish company, Hamamatsu, Leica, etc. The pandemic has accelerated the introduction of digital pathology in the NHS in the UK and other major markets. There are currently many trusts that bid for installing histopathology infrastructure, with AI solutions following right after. We're lining up trials with selected trusts, for example, Nottingham University hospitals, as well as smaller size independent pathology labs. The same trends emerge in other major European markets, and we're already in discussion in France and Italy with trusts looking into digital pathology, digital solutions in histopathology. Our leadership team includes individuals with a distinguished career in academic, entrepreneurial, and global corporate positions, and a world-class track record on machine learning applications in biotech and healthcare. Being near revenue, we look for a bridge capital injection of 500K, primarily to support market introduction activities until a multi-million Series A, which is planned for next year, for early 2022. This will allow us to deliver on our product roadmap and extract value from our know-how while creating high-impact solutions and improving outcomes across the patient's journey. Please get in touch for an in-depth information pack. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Then we have again 5 minutes of time for questions. I would start with one. How do you address the quality of the staining and the slides prepared, basically, because that can be, of course, a very...
That's obviously a critical question, and thank you for that. That is exactly why this is not the easiest, the easiest thing to create for a solution that will work with any scanner and with any lab. Any lab can have a slightly different staining recipe, and even the exact staining can change from month to month, from batch to batch. And of course, the human experts are easy to adjust and find the right answers regardless. That's not so straightforward for machine learning models. So there's a lot of pre-processing of the image data to standardize them and make them standard to use for the models. And also we have trained the models with images coming from several labs, several scanners, and several procedures and individuals. And finally, there's expected to be a validation and potential tweaking of the models with some customers if they have a very different methodology for their own site, which will be very fast and easy.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and then maybe looking on the long-term vision, what other implications for algorithms you're planning to go for? Other basically detections.
Thank you for that. Our most exciting long-term vision is to use histopathology, particularly H&E stained cancer slides, to predict recurrence. In cases where that will effectively replace or complement genetic tests, very complex genetic tests, which are very expensive. They cost several thousands of euros per test, and sometimes there's just not enough material for them to be carried out anyway. While in our solution, which is in principle validated on an academic level, can deliver results in a few minutes from the first preparing the slides, and as opposed to a couple of weeks that the digital the PCR-based methodologies can deliver, and obviously with an incremental cost which is significantly lower. That's our major. That's our next major step. The key to creating that product is to have access to the right data set. As you can imagine, talking about prediction of recurrence prediction, you have to have data sets that have followed patients for a decade or more, and that those data sets are rare. We have access to such a data set already, and beyond that, we are working with a different consortium in collaboration with academic and other SMEs to combine other information coming from healthcare records or proteomics, genomics, etc., together with pathology and radiology images to get a more holistic approach and try to score effectively therapeutic options. That's the ultimate goal. But we won't go there alone. It will be a collaboration to get there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, thanks. And then maybe just one last question to make sure that in case some pathologists are watching here and they are maybe wondering, are you going to replace the pathologist in the long run, or are you remaining a support tool?
In the short term, definitely, most certainly not. The product as it is designed at the moment, it leaves the pathologist right into the decision seat, and actually, if anything, it helps improve the skill of less experienced pathologists. It's basically like having an extremely experienced pathologist on your shoulder, pointing you at the right direction, and there is. I mean, to be honest, if you ask the pathologists, they don't really enjoy finding metastasis on lymph nodes. It's an essential part of the workday. It takes quite a bit too much of their time, and it's not particularly exciting as a task. So as soon as the software becomes good enough and it's validated to the highest possible level, and that will take years, maybe the pathologists themselves will choose to trust the software. That's not our strategy at the moment. Our strategy is to keep them on the driving seat 100%.
Okay, thank you for the answers. And with that, I thank also all the startups, jury members, and all the people watching the live stream for their time to join us here today. And I wish you then a nice afternoon and a nice rest of the event. Bye-bye.